Welcome to another episode of Driving to the Rays with your favorite hosts. Who are they?
I don't know.
Larry.
And Inelia, I think.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
we're here. Us.
I kind of feel a little bit out of my body, honestly.
Really? What happened?
Well, I've been needing to go to Salduc for a week or a month or a year
Can you
or
tell
2
people
years.
What Salduc is?
Well, Salduc's the hot springs.
Yeah. Because they ground you, don't they, those hot springs?
Yeah, for some reason, for me anyway, if I get into a natural hot spring, from volcanoes with the sulfur and bubbles and all the earth stuff, it feels like it grounds me in some way, and it fills my body back up with some energy that it uses. Mm. And if I get a dose at least, once, twice, 3 times in a year, I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
If I go up more than that, it's a bit like you went to the buffet and you ate your fill and you're going back to the buffet to graze again. And I mean, yeah, you might find a nibble here and a nibble there, but really you're not hungry anymore. It's kind of like that for me. So we did make a Salduc substitute in our backyard.
We did? Yeah. How's that going?
Well,
doesn't go well if you don't use it.
It's like a first world problem.
Yes.
Because
a hot tub in the backyard.
A hot tub in your backyard, fire. We have a wood-fired hot tub from Japan. Well, the tub's from the stockyard.
Yes. It's a trough.
It's a trough for horses to drink from.
Mm-hmm.
And the wood stove itself is a little tiny thing from Japan.
Mm-hmm. It's really nice.
Really, really nice. And we built a little deck around it, remember?
We did.
Me and Dan went outside and we figured out this half deck around our trough. So it looks kind of like, I guess I would call it a hamster's Olympic-sized swimming pool. With its own deck.
Probably like an ocean for a hamster.
Maybe an ocean for a hamster, yeah. It's quite large for a hamster and perfect size for 1 or 2 people.
Yeah.
And very, very comfortable, very nice. And yet, it's not a volcano.
Right. Yeah, it's not sulfur-based.
It's not heated by magma 10,000 feet in the planet or wherever it is. Mm-hmm. So, it's excellent, but it's not a substitute. Mm-hmm. I'm finding that it's excellent for what it is, but not a substitute for what it isn't. Mm. I think that'd be a good way to look at it. And Salduc is a national park, and because everyone is whatever, our excuse for Salduc is we don't want people getting infected, so we can't go in a hot tub. And then they said, after a year of being closed, it's like, okay, only the people who have a cabin here can stay. So it's like, oh, perfect, there'll be nobody there. We'll just go rent a cabin and use the hot springs. Mm-hmm. But we haven't.
No, we didn't.
And right now, I don't know what the process is, whether it's like open if you want to or not, but it's been edging in the back of my head as hey, you might want to go soak, because I've been feeling depleted. Have you felt depleted?
No.
Or is it just me?
I think it's just you.
Yeah.
But I have heard other people feeling that.
You have?
Mm-hmm.
Think they need to go soak at the Salduc?
No.
What do they need?
They need to refocus.
Oh, focus.
Mm-hmm. They need to refocus, stop engaging low frequency stuff and feeding their excuses for not doing their good works. And just get on with it, man.
Just get on with it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I'm going to go soak and get on with it then. How's that?
Fine. Because if that's your excuse and that's the only way that you have figured out stops you from engaging in low frequency engagements, like I don't have any energy, then that's your solution, right?
Well, I think it's more of a habit. Mm-hmm. Every year, this time of year, salmon season, I get the call to go soak at Salduc. Yeah. And some years I have forgotten. It's like, it's just on my mind, but I don't do it. And other years, I do it. And after once or twice, like, why is this like such a big draw? I mean, because it's kind of this and kind of that and kind of the other.
How do you feel about swimming pools in general? Because this is a swimming pool. I mean, the hot water comes out of the the hot water comes out of the volcano, but it's a pool, right? It's got cement walls and people, they have to clean it every 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, I prefer the kind that have stones in the bottom, but the closest one to us doesn't, so.
Yeah. So how do you feel about all the shedding that's in that pool now?
Well, I hadn't considered it, honestly.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But today I'm going to watch a presentation by Dr. Cohen and Dr. Kaufman about this details and see what research they've come up. Because they said that they've been looking at it really hard too, because they're very curious and they're very well trained about these things. And I trust them to do the digging into the things that I'm also intelligent and able to read stuff, but that's their world.
Exactly, yeah.
So I would be silly not to listen to someone whose whole life is like looking at this stuff. And
exactly. So if I wanted to know about boats, I'd go and ask you about it because you know about boats, right? And you spend your whole life on boats.
Yeah, and sure, I might have opinions that maybe don't match yours, but I'm gonna know facts about boats.
Exactly.
Like, I like this kind of boat because XYZ, and you're like, well, I don't like XYZ, so I probably would like a different kind of boat.
Right.
Even if that's the kind of boat you don't like, that's the kind of boat I would like. Like,
exactly, yeah.
I'm adult enough to understand not everybody likes the same thing.
Yeah.
But in the case of this proteins, spike protein sheddings, and magnetic particles, nanoparticles, all these other things, they're smaller than I can see, and they're bigger than I can conceive, because that's really not my area,
Yeah.
But it was interesting yesterday, actually. I was listening to Dr. Cohen talk for about a half hour. It was a little question and answer thing he had yesterday before his call thing today with Dr. Kaufman, which was interesting because he said something that rang in my head as similar and same with me, and I wonder if it's the same for you. That was when he's asked about a topic, if he's studied it, researched it, gotten into it, and gotten to the point where it just clicks in his head. It clicks as in it's known. I know it. It's a knowing. He doesn't say that knowing word, but what he says was, there's a point at which it clicks in my head, and when it clicks in my head, I can talk about it freely and openly and ably for as long as I need to or want to, and describe it in all different ways. It's clicked. Until then, I really can't, without researching or bringing out the data and doing it. I haven't got it, and so I prefer not to really talk about things until they've clicked into my head, clicked in. So some of the questions were about things that he hadn't clicked about. And when he gets the click, then he'll talk about it. He knows it. He knows it. Have you heard that before? Because that was the same way I remember in grade school. They were teaching us something about fractions, I think. And mathematics was something that my brain really likes, but I couldn't get it. And I told the teacher, I said, I don't know why, but it just hasn't clicked. The second it clicks, it'll be fine, but it isn't clicking yet. And she said, well, here, use these they had little counter, little dot things, little circles, little chips. They're like little chips. So she said, here's 3 chips and here's 4 chips, and do it with chips and visualize it this way. Maybe that'll help. And geez, it took like 5 seconds of chips. It's like clicked. Now I can do fractions until my,
No.
And then too, they were with me forevermore. So have you heard of that? Or is that what you call is that what you mean by when you say knowing? Or is it a different thing?
I think it's a different thing. I think it's a level of understanding. When you get it, it clicks. I think that the word knowing is, it's like, you have eyes, right? You don't need to click that you have eyes.
Sure. What I want to click is what the hell's going on and what's coming next.
Right.
And I can't get enough data in to get the click because I don't have the sources, I suppose.
Yeah.
And so I need to expand my awareness
Get more
to allow it in to click. But what do you think?
Yeah, we could do that. We could do like expand to more viewpoints, expand and absorb more viewpoints.
Maybe go into more of a meditative state and allow an expanded sense of awareness, like remote viewing or whatever they call it now. Larger perspective.
That works for
Less
some
smaller
people.
detail, less small detail and more big detail. What do you think?
That works for some people.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and if somebody does that a lot and they've got that muscle really flexed, it'll work for them. They expand their awareness through meditation, expansion of awareness, altered states of mind. They go out and they get the information. Yeah, that works, but that's not very many people in the Western world. So for the Westerner, I would say read more, get other viewpoints. Literally get other viewpoints. So I know there was I can't remember the name of it, but there was a way in which Greeks used to expand their awareness through argument.
Oh yeah, debate.
Yeah, through debate. And I can't remember the name of it or how it works, but basically what they would do is choose a person to have one viewpoint and defend it to death, and not to death, but right? Mm-hmm. And then have another person have the opposite viewpoint. And it didn't necessarily mean that they actually held those viewpoints, they just had to hold the viewpoint. They just had to
argue them.
They had to hold the viewpoint and argue it as it was right for the other person. And then the rest of the people would just sit and watch and listen. Mm-hmm. And these two people would go at it. And
they would have rules. They would have rules to this engagement. It wasn't about the person, and you couldn't have non sequiturs and all these type of things.
You can't attack the person. You can't have non sequitur things. You had to defend the viewpoint that was given to you. Mm-hmm. That's right. And after a few hours, it was like magic, because brand new ideas, insights, knowings would appear. Why? Because that expands your awareness to two opposite viewpoints.
So you encompass everything in between and all to the edges.
Right. So literally when I say get more viewpoints, it's literal.
Right. This is at the point before click, it feels hopelessly complex. But it's probably much simpler than it actually appears in some ways. So
when it feels complex, when it feels overwhelming, it's because your emotional body is getting involved. And one of the things about this type of discussion when you expand your awareness is that you do not use your emotional body. You don't engage with your emotional body. You leave your emotional body on pause and you simply engage on the viewpoint.
That's really good advice, right?
Yeah. So if you are feeling overwhelmed or overtaxed or whatever, it's just because you're overusing your emotional body. So you need to give that a break. Give your emotional body a break. And maybe for you it's soul duck, because that's where you just lay down or just go into the water and can relax, because it's psychological.
I cannot bring my phone for iPad for listen to a podcast. I can't bring my book. There's no internet.
No.
There's no food in there. There's food at the restaurant, but in the pool, you have only one thing you can do. Water, and absorb the energy of Gaia through the water, whatever it is that you feel like doing. Oh, except for I did bring Grace and her friend. Remember, her friend is the one who lived across the street. Mm-hmm. And we cloud busted at Salt. And they were so shocked that it worked.
Could do it,
They did it.
Yeah.
They were shocked. I wonder if they remember that still.
Probably not. I find that those type of mystical things people forget.
Does everybody know what cloud busting is, you think?
Oh, you can explain it in case they don't.
Do you know what it is?
Yep.
So explain it.
No, you explain
People
it.
love listening to you talk, honey.
Tell them.
No.
Okay, guess unexplained then. You have to go and search.
Is that how you're going to manipulate me to explaining it?
Yes.
Well, it's working.
Okay, good.
So, cloud busting. You look up in the sky and you see some clouds. Uh-huh. Maybe fluffy ones. They're the ones that work the best. And you focus your attention on them. And you ask them to
turn into a bunny.
Fade away. Disappear. Dissolve. And if you do it, and focus your attention, and continue to look at them, they will.
Mm-hmm.
They'll listen to you because they're water, and water is
very, very intelligent.
Very, intelligent
Perceptive.
is an interesting word to use, but it is perceptive and able to respond.
Yes.
Conscious in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ask it and you send your intention that way, thought, focus, attention, and if you share, especially with two other young minds who are open to it,
they'll do it.
It's like magic and fast.
Yeah.
So it was like, we had this sky with a whole bunch of clouds in it, puffy puffies, and cloud busted on one right above us, and then Grace did one, and then her friend did one, and then we did another one together, and it's like, they were like, wow, this is so amazing. Yeah. And by the end of, 10, 15 minutes, kind of lost interest in it. Right? Like, we're done. Had our soak. Got tired of it. Jumped in the car to go home, and guess what?
What?
There were no clouds in the sky all the way home. It's an hour drive. It was cloudy. They were completely gone.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Ooh, about clouds. That does remind me of something, because this week has been busy.
Gosh, busy.
It reminds me of the weather things that are going around the planet. Do you have any insights on that?
Well, I know one thing for sure. We woke up yesterday. It was raining cats and dogs. Our Res Palace has an awning, and the awning fills up with a little bit of water, and then it overpowers the little spring, and then it dumps a few gallons at once, and then it pops back up. Yeah. It's kind of fun to watch, but it's a bit startling the first couple times.
Yeah.
Because you're not expecting it. All of a sudden, it's like torrent of water.
Yeah.
But we planted our willow trees for shade for when we have really big suns, and just because we like trees, and we like lots of trees, apparently.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of trees.
We do have a lot of trees.
So we planted more trees.
Yes.
And we have some more trees to plant.
Yeah.
We dug their holes, and even though it was raining hard all night, all morning, and been all week cloudy and wet,
drizzling,
the dirt under the grass, I'm talking about an inch down, was so dry it was dust. It actually dusty.
Isn't that weird?
That's impossible.
That is so strange.
It was dry like the
Olympic
desert
Peninsula.
dry.
Yeah, Olympic Peninsula.
Yeah. It has been raining all week.
Mm-hmm.
Not hard rain, but drizzle, fog, cloudy, cool in the 60s and the 58s and whatnot. But the dirt was literally desert dry dust.
Yeah, it's bone dry.
I don't get it.
And when you put water in the hole, what happens?
It turned into a swimming pool.
Yeah.
It didn't absorb into there. It just stuck.
It's really strange.
Yeah, I don't understand it. It's like water was taking on. Well, there's two things that I thought about it. Mm-hmm. One is that the water was a different water, or it was manipulated in some fashion, so that it was evaporating as it fell. Mm-hmm. It touched the ground, and it went back up in the sky. The minute it touched, it was like boiling off the planet. Being absorbed, being sucked up, Mm-hmm. So despite it touching the ground, it never actually went into the ground. It was being absorbed by another kind of tech and sucked up away from here and squirted out somewhere else. That's what it looks like, because the ground the creek's dry, and it's not been so dry that it should be dry.
Right.
There should have been a trickle at least out of it, because it did rain enough to dump the awning several times.
Did it?
In less than 10 minutes. It's raining hard enough for that. Mm-hmm. And they did have some, we were looking at floods in Germany like I had never imagined they'd have in Germany. Germany seems like a place that's figured out the rivers and the towns next to the rivers by now. They know which one's going to flood, especially the major river in Germany is the Rhine. Yeah, it's a big river. Mm-hmm. Sure, like the Mississippi or something, there'll be floods once in a while, but to the degree that it happened, epic, right? Like Armageddon, epic, apocalypse type. What the heck is going on here?
Well, they had their end of the world. A lot of people did, didn't they?
They did, yeah. And then in Mexico, central Mexico, a friend of mine there, said for the last month and a half in the desert, where he lives in the desert, it's been raining every day. They got 140, 150 inches of rain in the desert. And it's been whatever 15 degrees Celsius is, 20 max. Never even gets to 20. It stays under 20 degrees Celsius, which for me, I don't know, 20 Celsius doesn't really mean anything. What does it mean to you? So it's like, it stays 11 to 15.
60 something maybe.
11 to 15 Celsius.
Wow, that's low. Yeah, probably 40, 50, 60.
That's freaking cold. Yeah. He said his butter in his house is hard, too hard to spread on his toast, and it breaks his bread. And normally, this time of year in the desert of Mexico, it would be water. You could pour it out of the dish. You don't leave it out. Yeah. And it's been like for a month and a half, and the next 10-day forecast is rain. He said, normally, it would be like news around the world, the desert's raining 10 days in a row, and it's been a month and a half of it, and nobody says anything about it. It's like, they don't understand. It's bizarre. Yeah. And of course, we had 120 degrees here for 2 or 3 days.
I know the trees.
All the trees sunburned. Yeah, they literally burnt. Yeah. It looked like, we went to the res, checked our property, checked our potatoes. They were all covered with grass and weeds. Did a little bit of weeding. Yeah. Hadn't been a few weeks. And our blueberries were sunburnt.
They were, yeah. But some of the potatoes were sunburnt.
And some of the potatoes are sunburnt. And in that area, it was like...
whole area, like a circle.
It was like a magnifying glass hit a zone, and it ultraviolet rayed it or something. Trees, completely, the evergreens with needles, not leaves, the needle kind of trees, brown top to bottom. Yeah. It's dead.
It's like a circle, and all the ferns were dead.
The ferns, the salal bushes, everything fried.
Sunburned. Yeah, all the leaves were on it still, but all like brown
and curled.
Burned, yeah.
It wasn't dry, but I mean, theoretically it could be like dry, but it isn't dry. I think everything around it was lush and green. Yeah. It was just right there.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, it was like, one side was burnt and the other side was a little shade, so it wasn't burnt. It felt like that. It didn't feel like water. It felt like burn. And remember, we were driving to Portland. No, we were driving to Southern Oregon, Middle Oregon.
Yeah, Southern Oregon.
And all the way down the coast, we noticed on one side of the road, all the trees were showing that sign, that same thing, where some of them were completely brown, and a lot of them were half browned, like crisped in the sun. So it was extreme heat. Yeah. Of course, since then, we haven't had anything here to speak of, like heat-wise. Mm-hmm. But to have 120 degrees here in July and have 40 degrees in the center of Mexico for a month, that's pretty extreme different.
Yeah. So what do you think about that?
Well, I remember one time, not too long ago, you'd said that the next phase of their being the pick and the light-dark paradigm, the light-dark paradigms pick or process, their next phase had been activated, and you were not going to be able to miss it. Mm-hmm. So I thought that maybe that's what they were talking about, but it still hasn't clicked, Mm-hmm. It's like, I can't say that's it. Mm-hmm. But I do remember you said something about if you live in the city, it's probably not a good idea to stay there.
I've been saying that for 2 years, 3 years actually.
Well, you get plenty of warning.
Yes.
But I mean,
I know people say, I'm in the city, what shall I do?
I've noticed some cities around the world are now starting to show big signs of...
Can you tell me an example?
Ireland and London, England and South Africa and...
in the cities there, what's happening in the cities in
those
countries?
Huge piles of people being told once again they have to lock up, or they have to get a vaccine passport, or they can't go to the supermarket unless they get a shot, or, all of the things that you mentioned. You want to know where you're getting your food, your water, and your whatevers. Decentralize your sources. So, I mean, if they say you can't go to Tesco or whatever, Walmart, it shouldn't actually affect you. because you have a source of food and supplies that isn't that. So you can go to Walmart or you can go to Jerry. Jerry's got a whole bunch of lettuce. Or you can go out to your greenhouse because you got a lot of lettuce there too. You don't really got to go anywhere for it. Well, things like the shut off the trains not going to Chicago from the West Coast because it's crowded. The shipping ports are crowded. So the supply chain of how much food's at Walmart, for example, is getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And all it takes is one little toilet paper thing.
Right.
And it's empty and there's nothing to fill it from.
Right.
Because the train isn't coming and the boat is not either because now the boat costs $2,000 what used to cost $20.
Right.
And nobody's going to ship any lettuce for $2,000 because it's only worth 20 cents.
Right.
So it's like these big imbalances that are designed to create conditions that when they erupt, they're like, you're stuck with it for a while. Right. So if the toilet paper thing happens, there won't be toilet paper for 6 months.
Right.
But apply that to food.
Yeah.
And if you're in a city where the only source of food is
the supermarket,
then you're going to be having a harder time to eat. So that was one of the reasons that you shouldn't probably want to live in a city unless you're bound and determined and you have figured out how to handle these things if their shortages happen.
Right.
Yeah. So these are manifesting. I see them happening. But not planetary wide to the degree that you haven't seen in your lifetime. More like these little eruptions are popping up, right? But they're like tells.
The weather is destroying a lot of fields, huh?
Oh yeah, the weather's destroying the crops, so it's like a year instead of a month. And the supply, not only dumping the milk out. South Africa, for example, they're having a big time of it, and the farmers have to dump the milk because the place where they bring the milk to get processed has been burned because of the riot, which was exacerbated by, other external forces to get the people riled. So they destroy everything, which is the things that support them. So they do the work themselves almost, right?
Right. It's kind of the story of the masses.
That's the story that they've been using for ages. I did see a video that kind of made me laugh, and it was absurdity, the height of absurdity. They had gone into a mall, a giant mall, and looted everything and burned everything. So there was literally nothing left in the mall except for one store. One store was completely untouched. Even the glass wasn't broken.
Which store was that?
The bookstore.
What?
Nobody bothered to loot the bookstore.
Nobody bothered to loot. Nobody likes the books.
Oh my god.
I bet that's the first store you would have gone to loot, huh?
Oh, yeah, of course. Full of good stuff.
You would have probably left like $100 there for the owner.
Well, yes, I would have. I wouldn't have looted it.
You would have taken the books to save them from the fire and left money there for the owner.
Well, I'm sure they're going back for the books later when they need some trees to start a fire. But yeah, that was it. And the lady who was taking the video was like, oh my god, you're not going to believe this. It's like, look at this. The drugstore is completely empty and looted. And look, the grocery store, there's nothing left in here. And they've even set fire to this. And all of these windows in this whole mall, look, they're totally destroyed. And look at this. Look at this. The lights are on in there. The glass is all covered and the windows, everything's perfect. She said, nobody looted the bookstore. Not one bit of it. They haven't even broken the glass. She said, I can't believe it.
Oh, that's really cool.
Anyway, that was kind of funny, but it's still, it's a bit of a trauma that people are going to be experiencing there that way.
Cities, yeah.
But yeah, they can see the cities beginning to be lit. And the fuse are things like, do you remember? You said to keep your doors, you're open, if you have doors, they will be...
To
negativity, they will be triggered or opened or creaked.
Exploited,
that's the right word.
Yeah,
and one of the things to be aware of is hunger, water, and rest.
Yes.
So if you're got food and you got water and you have rest, you'll be able to weather any of these exploitations most likely. Because, I guess just because.
Yep.
But if you're not getting rest, food, water, then your exploited doors will be triggered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are actually literally their open doors to negativity.
So that's kind of what looks like people are having done to them with the dry soil. It's like the water is being sucked out, and I'm gagging to go suck in some water. So it might be a body response to that too. Me
Could
personally, because I'm very sensitive to water. You know, my go-to, if I'm feeling anything,
water.
let me go take a shower, maybe that'll fix it. Or I'll take a soak. That'll fix it. That'll fix it for sure. You know, and then removing people's access to food and, you know, riots and great giant hundreds and thousands of people's anxieties being triggered is a big noise in if you're a sensitive, empathetic person, especially if it's real close to you. So, you know, those are things that makes it harder.
Yep.
I can only imagine what it's like, but I know it would be really hard to resist the temptation to go be righteous with all them people. What do you think?
I know, it's really hard not to stay out of righteousness. It's very difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, because we are right. Just saying.
And it's like, so are they. They chose
But
a
they
certain
are also
paradigm, and that's the way it goes, man. It's like, for them, that's the right decision.
When I moved to split decision, choice of this, choice of that, when I look at it through that lens, the tension in my head goes gone. It's gone instantly because it's literally the avenue to choose the paradigm you want to be in.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with choosing.
Yeah.
Nothing at all.
No.
But sure, at the level of the experiences that you don't want to have, you personally don't want to have, you know, what's the word? You're against them, I guess. So I guess perhaps if we can move out of, is it basically judgment? Judging another person's decision of choice as wrong? If you move out of judgment, then it make it a little bit better.
It does help.
Okay.
It does help.
So if they want to wear a mask and they get a shot, that's fine. That's what they pick. Of course,
when they try
easy
to force
to say.
when they try to force you to get a vaccine and you to wear a mask, and they tell you that you're killing people, that's, you know, that's triggering. I think
because that's them trying to put their righteousness on you, right?
Right, exactly. Still righteousness,
it's still righteousness,
and also blaming you for something you have done, not done nothing about. I mean, it's like somebody blaming you for the color blue in the sky. You know, there's nothing you've done to make the sky blue, and they say it's your fault, right?
Yeah, it's really hard to move out into, or it's hard to avoid defense in that state.
Yes. It's hard.
And defense is the reciprocal.
Or even fear, because if people are saying they're accusing you of killing people, you know that the masses are
they're being primed
to come and attack you and kill you.
The president did say that yesterday.
Yeah, I know.
He did say, if you're unvaccinated, you're killing people.
Yeah, it's the next.
You're killing the vaccinated.
The next pandemic, all the deaths are among the non-vaccinated, and they're killing people, right?
Yeah, that's what he said. And once I heard him saying it, I heard like about a dozen more others saying it. I'm like, I guess that's maybe what you won't miss.
Right, could be.
Could be, but how do you defend yourself against that type of stuff?
Well, don't defend. That's the whole point. We're not going to defend. We're not going to go and shoot people. We're not going to do that.
Also, anyway, remember, there's really literally nothing you can say that's going to convince them.
No.
Differently.
If somebody comes over to say, "Are you vaccinated?" you say, "Oh, absolutely, yes, I got all three of them." Because you can never be sure, you know.
I did actually see a fella. He was a really big, tall, giant fella. He got 2 of them. He got the first. He went through and got Pfizer's or Moderna's. Got a couple shots, and he said, "I didn't really feel nothing, so I went and got a J&J one too, just to be sure."
Exactly.
Because he didn't feel nothing from the first, so he figured, well, maybe it don't work.
Yeah, that's what you answer at the door. That's what you say. You don't come out with a gun, or you don't, you know, like that JC, whatever.
Don't bite. Don't bite.
You know, don't bite.
Don't bite the hook, because guess what?
It's a hook. It's a hook.
It's called bait.
Yes.
And don't bite it. I guess that's what we should title this.
Yeah.
It's bait. Don't bite it.
Yeah.
Because righteousness is met with defense.
Right.
And guess what?
What?
Doesn't cure it. It just strengthens it. It's like that little wall, that wall paradigm, or that wall analogy.
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
I heard it. I think on Trucillas or one of those guys. They said these things are like walls. One side's holding it up on one side, one side's holding it up on the other side, and both of them are pushing really, really hard against each other. And the wall will stay up until or unless you just stop pushing it up, and then it's going to fall down. You can't push against a wall only on one side. It just falls flat. Yeah. Well, of course, the righteous side would rather be the ones pushing it over.
Yes. And let them have their right.
Let them have it.
Let them be right, man. Let them be right.
Okay, well, I'd like to say that feels satisfying, but I suppose I need to justify. I need to process a little righteous.
Yeah, and you just need to wait.
And just be patient.
Yeah, just be patient.
Let it crumble.
Make sure you know where your water is. Make sure you know where your power is. Make sure you know where your food is. And just wait. And if anybody comes to the door asking you about getting vaccinated, say,
you don't need to convince them.
Absolutely.
You don't need to force your rights on them.
I got Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson, so you can never be sure. I didn't feel anything in the first one.
There you go.
So I got my second one. I
don't know if I'm going to get a third or not.
Yeah. I tried to get the third, but there was a waiting list.
Old people.
No.
Oh no,
I'm going to try and get the third, but there's a waiting list. So
okay.
No, don't say that because I said we have it here.
Oh no, don't say that. They will give you. That's what I heard too. They do bring them with them.
Said, no. I decided I shouldn't be selfish.
I think 2 is enough. I shouldn't be selfish.
Yeah, I shouldn't be selfish. So yeah, save the third one for the elderly.
Okay, well, I'm certain what you're saying is absolutely correct. And it's only the righteous side,
wants to show him.
The one side, the warrior wants to show him. I'll show him. Get off of my property. I'll shoot you. Yeah. But, what is that going to do?
Not much.
It's going to call upon you certain battle. Are you prepared?
Exactly.
Do you have your little silo with a 10-foot thick wall and a unlimited source of allies who are also armed and prepared more than, an entire dark side?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think so.
That's their game. I mean,
they're
war is
ready
their
for
game.
that.
Yeah.
They're good for that.
Fighting
I know.
and battling and shooting, that's their game. Don't engage in that game.
Don't engage in that game. That's reasonably smart.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we got it. I know there was something else that was interesting to talk about. I thought we were going to talk about it.
What?
Espanol. Have you heard of that?
Oh, yeah. We started.
Espanol.
Yeah.
That's Spanish, if you don't know. So it turns out, honey, you speak Espanol.
Pretty good.
And you're pretty good
pretty
Spanish
good at it.
speaker. And there's this giant collective of Spanish-speaking people on the planet.
It's huge, yes.
And they cover like 2/3 or maybe a half. I don't know, some number of the planet. But it's not insignificant. It's quite large.
Huge. Probably bigger than English, actually.
Probably bigger than English because even in English people also speak Spanish.
Yeah.
But when you're speaking a language, it has words that the other languages don't have. Correct. Because,
it's translate it.
It's untranslatable, some of these words. You can get close with multiple words, but it's a concept and a thing that you're brought up with. So you say, what was that one word?
Hola?
Hola. Yeah. Hola and hola. And it means 2 things, right?
Yeah.
One is a water wave and one of it is hello or something like that.
So hola means wave.
Hola.
As in the English word wave as in an ocean wave.
Right.
Also it means wave as in sound wave.
Oh.
Right? No, it doesn't.
It doesn't mean that.
Right, because in English it does. It's both.
In English, a wave is a sound wave or a water wave.
Exactly.
It's all wave.
It's a wave. But in Spanish, they have different ones. For an ocean wave, it's hola.
Hola is an ocean wave.
And the sound wave is onda.
Onda, the sound wave.
Yeah, that's right.
Right, so they're very specific in wave.
And ola also means...
particular about it. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, wave.
Hola, hola.
And wave also means wave your hand. Hello.
Oh, there you go.
So it's interesting. That's a pretty interesting connection, right?
Yeah, you made the connection.
So the point being that when you try to explain concepts that are less familiar, or at least maybe understood in English, trying to hear them in English and then translate them to Spanish in your head, you're gonna miss some of it. Plus, the energy of the delivery is different.
Yeah.
So recently, as in a couple of weeks ago, a team of Spanish speakers volunteered to...
From Walk With Me Now.
From Walk With Me Now.
Some of them don't speak English.
Some of them who don't even speak English at Walk With Me Now.
And translate everything with apps. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they use Google Translate or whatever translate app that they have.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you carry on? People are tired of listening to me to talk.
But you were telling the story so well.
But I got to the point where now you take over.
And what were you trying to say about that?
A group gathered together and...
Did something.
Did something. Tell them what they did and what
they're doing. They got off their asses.
They got off their asses?
Yeah, they got off their asses and they stopped asking Inelia to get
stuff in Spanish. Can you please make it in Spanish?
And they actually did it.
Let's do it. Will you do it with us, please?
They're translating things. They're looking for words that mean what I'll teach. Mm-hmm. And they organized the brand new tube. Brand new tube,
because YouTube is not really...
not friendly to my teachings.
Friendly to your teachings in Spanish. Mm-hmm. It's more like the Spanish collective was a little bit divided and triggered, right? Because yes. This information that you share, I think we're used to it.
That's anti-Catholic.
Okay, it's anti-Catholic. So it's going to trigger.
Yeah, it triggers. So anyways, we're in brandnewtube.com/@Inelia, and you can find, if you speak Spanish, you can go there.
Yeah, if you're a Spanish
But also
person,
you can go to the Telegram. The descriptions in YouTube,
mm-hmm.
my YouTube channel, Inelia, have the links to the Telegram group where we do all the discussions, and they're running the Telegram group, they're running the brand new tube, they do and once a week we get together for an hour and we have discussions around all my teachings and what's going on the planet right now in Spanish.
I think we should print out some cards, honey.
For what?
That have your channel name and how to get it in Spanish and leave them around Forks.
Oh, yeah, Forks.
And then let people also do that to transmit, hey, here's where you can get it in Spanish if you're interested.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's been really fascinating and interesting, and I really love the energy, the co-creative energy of this group. Because they're not riding my energy. They actually say, hey, Inelia, we're setting off on this train. Would you like to come in with us? And I said, absolutely, yeah, I'll come with you. Right?
Yes, good job, guys.
And I haven't really spoken Spanish for very much or often, but I have one one personal student who speaks Spanish from Mexico, and we practice in Spanish. Mm-hmm. She's coaching me in Spanish. And the conversations, and we meet up and walk with me now with the Spanish admins, for the mm-hmm. everything, all the projects. And I'm getting better and better every day because it's just a matter of remembering, right? Or downloading the language again. So it's good. And it's why every week a 1 hour live, because we're catching up for 10 years of English material.
Pause for a second. You didn't ever mention that.
What?
That every week you do a Spanish broadcast live.
Yes.
A live
on brand
Spanish
YouTube
broadcast.
Yes, brandnewtube.com. Go over there, find my channel once a week.
The first one was a bit of a disaster, wasn't it?
No, it was awesome, actually.
Well, I mean, disaster. It got deleted very quickly.
We had a lot of resistances for it. Don't forget that nothing can happen without your agreement, mm-hmm. right? We had a lot of resistances to it, and individuals who work with me can sometimes go into fear because I don't hold back.
Yeah, I've noticed that when we be at a basketball game on the
res. My God, the first time that
everybody has to stand for Pledge of Allegiance or something.
Yes.
But you didn't. And so
now
I couldn't either.
And you're trying to
I was trying to, honey. And
not gonna happen.
He said, not gonna happen. Like, damn it. I have to stay in integrity, don't I? Shit.
Whatever happened the next one, though? Did you notice? A whole bunch of people didn't stand that. Did you notice that?
I did notice that.
Yeah.
It's catching, I guess.
Yeah, when you stay in integrity, just give permission to be in integrity and boom.
Okay. Well, anyways, that was a challenge. So...
It can happen.
Weekly, live,
it got censored.
Spanish broadcast.
Yeah.
It got censored
From
and
YouTube.
it got deleted off of YouTube.
Yeah, it got deleted from YouTube.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah.
So if you like to hear the latest in Spanish...
You know where to go.
so much the latest that it's going to get wiped out of existence in a week. Not even a week. In a day or two. Yeah. Go to... It was Brand New Tube is the name of it.
Yeah.
They have a live stream there. We're going to try that one.
They do, yeah. So
if that one doesn't work, we'll go to another one.
We'll go to another one.
If it doesn't work,
matter.
we'll go to another one.
Yes,
it doesn't even matter who's the host of the live.
Doesn't matter.
Well, I mean,
and I'm encouraging people to download the copy, right?
Download it.
And thank goodness that somebody downloaded it on YouTube. One of the listeners downloaded the file to their iPad.
Nice job.
And that's the only reason why we have it, because none of the team or I even thought about it, because we were so excited about the whole thing.
It was
None of us thought about it, about downloading it.
Remember how you couldn't sleep?
I think his name was Ricardo.
Yeah.
He downloaded it, and now we're able to put it into the brand new tube. So, yeah. So I think it's there already, actually. So thank you, Ricardo, for that. And if you're listening, download all my stuff from YouTube, man, because it's only a matter of time.
Only a matter of time.
Download everything that you can from the podcast, from the YouTube, and replicate it in everywhere. Replicate it. Put it up into your channels in all sorts of different avenues and platforms. Do it. You have my permission. Just download and upload in different platforms. Mirror it. Mirror everything that I publish publicly.
Excellent.
All my YouTubes, all our podcasts, right? Mm-hmm. Duplicate it. Not the tools that are in my website. You don't have permission for that. Nor my books. Don't copy that and share it all over the place. Because that's the only form of support that people are sending. People say, well, I'll donate, but some do. Some have donated very, very, very nicely, but that's a minority. So we need the circuit completed. Mm-hmm. And that goes for the Spanish crowd too.
Yeah.
Send donations, man, to keep it online, to keep it working. Because, even the brand YouTube, I had to pay, monthly fee for that.
You spent a whole day that would have been doing other things, like writing your book, finishing your book, creating a course.
Yep.
Doing that instead.
Right. Exactly.
All day.
Yeah.
And
somebody has to pay for food.
It's intense work too. Yeah.
It is very intense, yeah. Very intense. The Spanish-speaking collective is extremely powerful. It's a very different energy to the English-speaking community. Mm-hmm. With the English-speaking community, I find that they're more like calm, maybe.
That's a polite way.
Yeah. Saying what? Polite way
that
of saying.
That the Spanish is less calm.
Well, yeah, hot-blooded, right? I mean...
Hot-blooded, right.
You live with me, you know what a Latin woman's like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hot-tempered,
just
hot-blooded.
saying, the English channel didn't get deleted in a day.
Right, exactly, yeah. Yeah, don't invite them to do that, though.
Not inviting.
No. But yeah, that's a very important point. Make sure that when you listen to something, download it to your device and then mirror it, put it up in your channel, right?
Sure.
Like all our podcasts and all our videos. Go ahead and do it.
Help make it visible, yeah. Mm-hmm. Visible is good.
And
because
keep it online because, it's only, like I said, it's a matter of time, really. Mm-hmm. And like I said, it does need your agreement, right? Our agreement for things to happen to our stuff. What was our agreement? Okay, so here's the thing. Okay. YouTube is dark side, okay? It's their tool. It's their home.
Okay.
So if you go in there with stuff and they kick you out, it's irrelevant because that's their home. Mm-hmm. It's their home. So it's like, for example, there's a person who lives in a house and that person is covered from head to toe in poop and all their walls are covered in poop. And you go in there and you shine a little candle and they blow out the candle and kick you out of the house. How do you feel about not having to smell the stench and you go out in fresh air?
It's like, well, thank you, sort of.
Kind of, thank you. There's a lot of people in there. I wanted to shine light to make sure that they saw the light, A little bit of savior there, a little bit, but, we're going to keep it because until we get kicked out.
Good way of saying it.
But it's nothing wrong with getting kicked out. There's nothing wrong. If people want to, are ready to hear this stuff, they're going to find you.
If they don't want to hear it, it doesn't matter where you put it. They ain't going to click, they ain't going to listen, they ain't going to... Yeah. It's just... The nicest thing is that those who are looking for it have an ability to find it.
Because it's there.
Because it's there somewhere. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Somewhere they can get to it. Yeah. Somewhere they can find it without... Because, we have angels and guides or guides and higher frequency guides and we've cleaned our entourages. We have entourages and entourages are like, hey, over here. Hey, over here. Hey. Oh, jeez, went by. Okay, let's look for the next one. Where's the next opportunity? Oh, man, it's not for a week. Gosh. How am I going to get it in a week? Let's see. Okay. Might need XYZ. I'll try this. Mm-hmm. Maybe he'll listen. I hope he doesn't drink all of that, whatever he was drinking. Because every time he drinks that, I can't get through.
Yeah, which is alcohol, right?
Yeah.
We talked a lot about alcohol last week. Yeah.
So that's what's going on. And, make it easier for yourself, not harder for yourself.
Yeah.
And for your fellow co-creators who are also high frequency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that's basically what we're talking about. You want high frequency co-creators.
Right. And why is the reason that all the stuff's in English? Well, it's easier for me to speak it. But also, 2 collectives started supporting me in delivering the message. And that was the English-speaking community collective with various people who speak English, not necessarily first language, but second language. And a very tiny Spanish collective, actually. I think it was just one person who stepped up for quite a few years, right? Natalia is her name. I don't know if I haven't heard from her for many years. She moved on to another teacher. But she was the only person who really, really carried it. And other people tried, but there was some conflicts and things that didn't get resolved. And so anyways, they stopped. The Spanish collective literally stopped. And I can't carry the entire human collective. The English collective continued, and the English support has been tremendous. Yeah. Even joining Walk With Me Now supports us. Right? Supports me in my work. I don't have to go and work at McDonald's because I can, the subscriptions that Walk With Me Now, even if you don't understand anything, the actual fact that you're financially supporting this work works. And that support came from the English-speaking community. The Spanish-speaking community, they were happy to pirate the Ascension 101 course. Hey, I got a free copy over here. Look, this guy's giving it for free. That's their energy, It's exploitative, it's non-supportive, and I wasn't going to carry that entire collective. So when this group finally heard the call and came in to Walk With Me Now, started organizing themselves, and I don't have to carry them, and I don't have to carry the Spanish collective. They're organizing, and they're learning. Nobody knew how to do any of this stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And some of them, like I said, don't even speak English. They're doing it. And that's the energy that I'm proud of from the Spanish collective too now. That was the one I'm proud of from the English-speaking collective that's been going on for 10 years now. And now we have a magnificent team in the Spanish-speaking community, and we're inviting more. Even if you don't speak English, you can proofread and see if things, make sense.
Yeah, right.
And the more Spanish speakers we get in Walk With Me Now, guess what? We're going to start putting threads in Spanish, right?
Yeah, obviously. And it'll be, I can translate Spanish. Plus, I can learn Spanish by reading it.
Exactly.
I get better at it. Exactly. The more exposure I have to it.
Exactly. So it's powerful, and it's not about being passively waiting, sitting on your ass, doing nothing. It's being active, proactive, and doing it. Mm-hmm. So what can the English community listening to this today do? You copy, download everything that has been published publicly on YouTube or even the articles and the podcasts. You download it and then you upload them onto your systems, onto your platforms, right? Make multiple channels on YouTube, multiple channels on Brand YouTube and BitChute, all of them. Just upload everything back on the internet, mirror everything. That's what you can do. Just spread it around, man.
So high frequency entourages have lots of points to look at.
Yes, exactly.
To help. That makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Honestly, it makes a big difference.
Huge difference, yeah.
I agree.
It's not just about, oh, well, even if they get deleted on one place, you know, oh, it's all gone. What's going to happen? Because a lot of people that happened to, they just put all of their energy, all their input.
One thing, and they made a giant thing.
Huge, giant thing. They were getting money and all their income through YouTube. And then boom, the next day they were deleted.
And haven't heard from them.
Exactly, because you can find them. Where are you going to find them? Right?
Yeah. That's unfortunate. But it's not without warning.
Yeah, it's not without warning. Right?
So that not many people are doing that anymore.
No. So on my YouTube channel, the Spanish one, I got an email from them saying, you know, you're violating the terms community about
guidelines,
the World Health Organization, this and this and the other. On this video, we're going to delete it. You can argue about it, or in a week it's going to get deleted forever. I'm not going to argue about it. They can take it down.
Do you mind printing out that little letter? I think that should be framed. Get a little gold star, honey.
I'm not going to go into righteousness about it either.
That's not righteousness. I'm proud of you. Of course you've made a video that the WHO doesn't approve of.
Shall I tell you a little story when I was 12 years old?
Yes.
Okay. When I was 12 years old, tiny little girl.
Yes,
right?
12 years old girl.
Yes. And I lived in Chile with my grandma.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. My parents had been taken to concentration camps by the right-wing dictatorship run by Pinochet and tortured.
That's a bit
extremely badly tortured and broken. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then they had managed to leave the country after they got released.
Because they definitely want to torture them, then release them, so everybody knows how bad it can be.
Exactly. Yeah, that's part of the manual of how to rule a population through terror.
Yeah, it's page 10, guys. Yes. This is like written down in the book.
It is. Literally, actually.
Literally, this is a process.
Yes, it is a process. Anyways, I was living with my grandma, and then there's a day in Chile where they celebrate the armed forces and the police and all that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. And we lived in a tiny little village up in the Andes called Codegua. And the school was told by the head of the police force that I had to carry the flag for my
parents'
class.
For your class?
Yeah, all the children had to march. Everybody. It was, it had to be done. Everybody had to march, and usually the prefects would carry the flag, right?
Is that page 11 or 12? Get the children to
march?
Indoctrinate.
Yeah. So all the children had to march, and the prefects had to carry the flag for each class, right? Okay. But it came from above that the prefect in our class, the prefects were not going to carry the flag. I was.
My gosh.
And what did that mean? Basically, the person that carries the flag is in front of the class, marching across all the VIPs. And when you get to the VIP, this is the instructions. You turn to the VIP, you put the flag up really high, and you salute, right? And the flag is in a cross thing on your chest.
Right, I've seen that carrier thing.
It's a carrier. And you salute, right? And so you march, you salute, and you smile. That was what we had to do. And the head of the armed forces in that area demanded that I be the one to carry the flag, even though I was not a prefect. Why? Because my parents had been in the government that was removed by force, by killing the president and many of the senators and everybody, right? And my parents had been jailed. They knew who my parents were, right? The leaders of the opposition. So they needed me to do that. They needed me, a 12-year-old girl, they took away the honor of the prefect, which was a great honor. They looked forward to it and they practiced all year round to do that. Mm-hmm. and she had to give it up. And I don't know, it might have been a boy, but I can't remember, boy or girl. I think. He had to give it up for me, a nobody, to carry the flag and do the honor, right? That he had been practicing the whole year. This is how important it was at the time in that little village, whatever's. So I refused. I said, not gonna happen, not gonna happen, right? And the teacher came to me and she said, listen, they told me to say, if you don't do this, they're going to arrest your grandma. I says, well, okay, I'll carry the fucking flag.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. You're not going to like this, I bet, but I'll carry it.
I did say that. I'm not going to like it, but I'll carry it. And she said, okay, great, perfect. I'll go and tell them. Perfect, everything. The day came, I put the flag on, right?
I can only
Started
imagine.
marching down. And guess what?
What?
The leader, and this is indoctrinated into the children, what the leader does, the rest of the class has to copy. So when the leader stands up straight, marches really straight, smiles and salutes, the entire class does so too. Okay? So we get to the point, I put the flag down and I look away, the other direction. I do not look at them, I do not smile at them, and I do not salute them. I look away, and I put my arms right down, no salute. And looking away, you know when you give the cold shoulder to someone? Do you know what that means in English? Right. This means the same thing. Right? You're dishonoring, you're telling them they're nobodies. And guess what the class had to do?
The same?
The same. So me, flag down, I literally pulled the flag down onto the ground, off my chest thingy, down, right? And I looked away, and we marched right across that VIP group, like that.
Dragging your flag
Silence.
in the dirt. Oh my God.
Silence.
That was a time where...
I was 12 years old, right? So we finished, we went back, whatever's, the teachers were terrified. My teacher got arrested.
Good.
My grandma got arrested.
Well, that's not good.
That's
you did
not
what they
good.
said.
That's not good. And that's exactly what I did. I carried the flag. That's the instructions. They wanted me to carry flag. I carried the flag.
That was the agreement, right?
Yeah, that's the agreement. They released them, right? But when my grandma got home, she said, we got to get you out of the country because they're waiting for you to be of age, which at the time in Chile was 14. And they're going to take you and they're going to torture you like your parents. They told me that. So we're going to get you out of the country.
Well, at least they had to wait till you're 14. I mean, I don't know why.
I don't know why either, but it was a kiss.
Some rule they follow.
Some
arbitrary,
rule.
whatever.
Don't forget, nothing can happen to you without your agreement.
Exactly.
Right?
And also remember, this was a period of time before.
My teacher got released, right?
Right.
Because she was like super supportive of them anyways. So she obviously convinced them. She had taught me nothing of those things. She had not told me how to do that, you know? It was obviously my corrupted parents or whatever, you know?
Well, yeah, they're an easy scapegoat at that point.
But anyways, that's what happened. At 12 years old, I had the balls to comply, right? And to do my thing, yeah, pay the consequences, right? But nobody, like my teacher and my grandma, they didn't get hurt because it wasn't part of their agreement, right?
Plus, we've got to acknowledge that was a period of time before where it was okay to engage in a little bit of battle. And you did.
Yeah, it was before 2011.
Right.
But now, it's like nothing can happen. Again, nothing can happen without your agreement. If you agreed to battle, because that wasn't, to me, it wasn't a battle, it was a passive resistance. That's what I called it.
Well, nowadays they call it kneeling.
Yeah. It's like an act
burning
of...
the flag. They have all those things.
I'd never burned the flag.
I know, but it's the same kind of thing.
Resistance or an act of... it's an act of resistance, you know, like I will not comply. But I'm saying in integrity, right? So it's like... It's an energy of, if you force me to go into your house, then I will do it on my terms. But don't get forced to go to their house. I left Chile. Right? I left.
Yeah, I remember. Well, I mean, I don't remember because I was there. I remember because you told me.
Right, I left, right?
And you're not there right now, obviously.
No.
You left Chile.
I did. I left.
And you went to London, England, or somewhere?
Yeah, exactly, in England, yeah. And that was a completely different story. But one of the things to remember is that nothing can happen without your agreement, but keep it to your dynamic. Keep it within your dynamic. Okay?
Well, again, different time too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so nowadays when they come to your door, tell them you had 2 of them.
I got 2 flags. I'll carry them where do you want to carry them?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's a period of time we're going through here.
Yeah, it is.
In the new paradigm, nobody's going to come to your door with a flag and you have to go take it to everyone and indoctrinate them.
Mm-hmm.
The situation doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
But the invitation to the situation and your response to it exists now. Yeah. And your response to it is...
Well, the example was related to getting banned from fucking YouTube. Pardon my French. Oh, I'm learning French too, because the French collective is popping up too.
Popping in.
Yes, totally.
Okay, well, I understand. I just don't want people to misinterpret it. Because it's easy to take a little bit, and then
take it out of context.
Take it out of context and apply it to another situation and say, well, Inelia did that, so it must be fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is different time and situation, and the illustration is about something specific.
Right.
It doesn't mean go outside and burn a flag and make yourself center of attention and, leave the U.S. to go to I don't know where. Mm-hmm. That's not what
No, I wasn't
soliciting
They
or
made
saying.
me. They made me the center of attention, right?
Right. Understand. I get it.
Exactly.
And at 12 years old, you knew you weren't. And anyways, you were 12.
I was 12. Yeah. But even then, like I said, I wasn't going to comply. Right? And that letter that I got from YouTube was for me to comply.
I know. It reminds me of is there's
I will not comply.
12-year-old girl. She's getting kicked out of school because she's refusing to wear a mask or be throttled in any way. Mm-hmm. And she's walking out the door with all the principals and what's behind her going, and she's like, yes. I win.
Exactly. That's the energy.
That's the energy.
That's
the
energy.
I'm not going to comply, and I won't be here, and I'm happy to leave.
Exactly. And that's the energy because it's related to YouTube, right?
Yes.
So let's remember that.
Yes.
If when I was 12, I didn't comply with proper murderous people, right?
I think that's fine.
Yeah, when they forced me even, right? Forced my hand.
By threat of murder, right?
Yeah.
You did.
But I'm not going to comply with YouTube either.
You literally did what they required.
Exactly. I did
but
what
in
they
the
required.
way that
stayed in
integrity for you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I got it. Quite a good story.
Yeah. I didn't raise arms against them because that's their game.
You didn't start a foundation of drag the flag.
No. But about compliance, right?
You definitely showed.
Yeah. And it's like with the other things, people said, oh, when I talked about it, I got attacked and they called me names. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If I had stopped because people called me names or delivering the message of empowerment to the masses on planet Earth during this time...
That would have been a long time ago. You wouldn't have said that word.
That would have been a long time ago. I was called names when I was 2, right?
Oh, yeah.
I've been called names my entire life. Because people get triggered around me for no apparent reason, right? There's the energy so intense that they project all sorts of stuff and they attack. What do? Okay, yeah, I'll take that into consideration, yeah. All right, bye.
Bye.
Yeah, just ban it. Sometimes they don't even answer, just ban them. And on the internet, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So it's like that. Don't engage at all. And if you get banned from YouTube, it's actually not a bad thing.
That's a high five. Good job.
Yeah, high five. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm not going to say high five, good job, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, totally. Right?
It's like,
yeah.
It's not a surprise, and it's,
It's not a surprise, no. But it's time that people got off their asses, stop being passive, and start spreading this message. Okay. Right? And if you resonate with my message, if you think that I say it in the right words, if you think that my tools are something that are effective and work, right? Because the most effective tools are actually on my website for free for those who are running poverty programs.
Free.
Right?
Yes. You're
Spread
100%
it.
correct. For
Spread
free.
it. Spread it. Put it up everywhere on the internet. All of our podcasts and all my videos, put them up all over the internet. Everywhere. Grab my articles from my website. All of my articles, put them everywhere. Time to do it. Time to act. Time to put that flag down and look away from the shadow government, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Stop complying in that way and just look at the other direction. Look at the masses. Because, well, who was on the other side of the road? The way I was looking at how class looked at.
I don't know. Probably the boss.
All the village was on the other side of the road.
Oh, watching?
Watching.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so?
And a lot of them were
same.
there, forced to be there, because anybody who didn't attend was going to be punished.
I see.
See, that's a little part that people forget. Or don't realize.
Or don't recognize.
Think about it.
Or even think about, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Who was on the other side of that road where I looked and I pointed the flag at? Who was on the other side? The village, the masses were.
Mm-hmm. Well, that puts a big spin on it.
Yeah.
Thank you for that tidbit. So it makes it all different.
It does, right? Yeah, I couldn't understand why it couldn't make sense, but now I understand I missed a little bit out.
That's a pretty important bit.
Yeah.
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 Good job, honey.
Yeah.
I'm proud of your 12-year-old son.
Oh, me too.
You're way more brave than, I don't know, a lot of giant, strong fellas that I've seen. Brilliant. Good job.
Thank you.
Oh, honey. Give me a hug. I love you.
Love you too.